Your team has been betrayed, Ethan.
The latest installment from one of America's favourite leading men, Tom Cruise.
Everything you are.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is out this month, a release that's already been impacted by the pandemic and strikes. Mostly filmed in the UK, but also Malta, Italy and Norway. A truly global affair.
One last time.
But Donald Trump wants movies made in America again.
If they're not willing to make a movie inside the United States, then we should have a tariff on movies that come in.
Here they are at Grauman's Chinese Theatre in Hollywood to sign their names and print their hands and feet in...
Taking a look back at Hollywood's golden age, could this be what Donald Trump is trying to revive? The stars of yesteryear on the Walk of Fame, a film ecosystem that revolved around LA. But fast forward and think about some of the biggest films of our time, like Wicked. A big chunk of post-production. Yeah, that was Hollywood. But the fantastical world which encompassed Elphaba and Glinda was in Elstree, in Hertfordshire. And that's the blueprint that most big film studios follow.
A big Hollywood production will be working with talent from the UK. It will be working with talent from India who are doing CGI, for example. How do they then implement this? I mean, it can be done, but it is pretty difficult to keep tabs on all of this and saying, we want everything to be done within Hollywood, within LA only. It just doesn't seem tenable to me.
And what could the impact be for the film industry here in the UK? One that's worth over $1 billion and employs nearly 200,000 people. The government said film tariffs will form part of trade negotiations. The Culture, Media and Sport Committee said the moves proposed by the Trump administration are not in the interest of American businesses.
Rolling.
The entertainment union Bectu echoed that, while warning of serious harm if tariffs do get imposed.
I think probably everyone is trying to get their heads around what it might mean in practice. I've spoken to government ministers today, and clearly they, like the rest of us, are rushing around trying to get further detail. So I think the devil will be in the detail, but it could be really devastating for the industry in the UK.
This evening, a White House spokesperson said no final decisions had been made yet on foreign films. But the impact of the proposal is already being felt, with Netflix, Disney and other media stocks falling. And British film bodies say they're planning urgent talks with the government in the coming days.
Well, I'm joined now by Howard Berry, a film producer, lecturer and historian of Elstree Studios in London. I mean, we saw the head of Bectu saying this could be devastating. How dependent on America is the British film industry?
I think we're quite massively dependent, and perhaps a little too dependent on the US industry. Out of, I think, 90% of the films that claim their studios are US, 25% of those are actually made in the UK. So we are quite reliant on American money coming in for the production that's taking place in the UK.
And it's been hugely good for the British film industry, hasn't it? Because that business, I mean, that's how the industry has grown over the last couple of decades.
That's right. I mean, we have really built the infrastructure that Trump is saying doesn't exist in America anymore. Yeah. We've seized that opportunity, and we have now fantastic studios, but we also have the best craftspeople and the best artists in the UK. That's another reason why American productions come to the UK for filming.
I mean, from his argument, I suppose it's the same as making things in China. You know, if you make things in Britain, then, you know, move all the factories back to America. But this is a departure, because this is not goods, this is services.
That's right.
So it's a totally different section of the economy that hasn't been hit by tariffs before.
Well, it's also extremely hard to define. There is no way of categorizing the nationality of a film. There's no system of doing that in any kind of way. And if you want to make the best films, you have to look at the global industry and the global supply chain of where you need the best crews, the best craftspeople, the best post-production, but also the locations. How are they going to film, you know, the Colosseum in the United States when you could go to Italy and go and film the Colosseum? It beggars belief.
I mean, it's very hard to work out where the charge would be made. But, yes. I mean, if it were to happen and those bits of production moved back to America, what would be left of the British film industry, and what would be the impact on films?
Well, the British film industry needs to, I think, invest a lot more in itself in terms of film production in the first place. We have the talent, we have writers, we have creative people here, but we lack the infrastructure at the moment, financially, it seems, to support independent British films.
Because all the money has traditionally come from America.
That's right, and we could do a lot more. But we don't want to turn away the American money either. That's supporting lives, jobs, industry as well.
Where else could you turn? Because there are already Chinese investors in the film industry. Obviously, India's got a huge film industry. I mean, could Britain find itself turning the other way?
Well, we're not a closed shop, so we're open to all sorts of opportunities from around the world. I think that's the problem that Trump is facing, is if he wants everything to be US owned and US made and everything within their borders, you're not going to end up with the best results. And the UK isn't like that. So of course we could look to the rest of the world.
I mean, you've also had recently huge investments in studios in Britain, you know, west of London, north of London. I mean, it could be catastrophic for them, couldn't it?
Well, that's another question, because we have Sky Studios in Elstree, which was mentioned in the report. I mean, that is owned by essentially Comcast, which is an American company, Universal Studios. And then we have Leavesden, which is Warner Brothers. So again, what's the definition of an American film? If the parent company is American, but it's a British studio owned outright in the UK, perhaps, that asks a lot of questions as well, as where the ownership is and what the nationality is still.
Howard Berry, thank you very much.
Thank you.